today we have a special guest. We haven't done one of these in a while, but we got an interview with party promoter. In his past life, he used to do a little scratch DJing. Mr. Tommy D in the building, Jersey finest. Make some noise.
Well, thanks a lot for having me. Let's go Jersey. Absolutely. Let's fucking go.
Now, Tommy D, we have you here because a lot of people may not know you, may not have heard your name before, but you have been really instrumental in pushing the fight for fans, promoters, and everyone who loves live events. And that's a little intro that people might not be familiar with, but when I give that intro for you, can you maybe explain why I'm saying these things about you?
Yeah, so I've been battling Live Nation, Ticketmaster, federal court for like 16 years now. And they wiped out my career in 2011 when I was putting on one of the largest EDM. It would have been the largest EDM festival before it was cool. It was called House Music back then. At the Meadowlands, they wiped out my career, wiped out my festival. As time passed, I think everybody sees right now how everybody gets ripped off by tickets every day. Competition gets wiped out. Artist development's killed. So I've been battling Live Nation in court, and now I'm battling them publicly to bring about change for lower ticket prices for fans, more competition for promoters. Most of them are all wiped out, and artists to have a real chance again. And that's why I continue my fight and my crusade.
How did this all start? How did your actual fight with Live Nation, the ticket company, begin?
Yeah, so I had grown in the industry. I'd been in the industry for 15 years before. I started off at 16 years old, throwing underage house parties that were pretty crazy. Getting in trouble, bringing it to the real club world. Then I built myself to the top in the industry with my team, with a lot of hard work, running events throughout the whole East Coast. And I went to get bigger. I wanted to get into the festival business. House music, which was later called EDM, was going mainstream in 2011. I predicted that it was going to become the next rap or hit or rock and roll. And me and my team were ahead of the game, you know? So I signed a 10-year exclusive deal with, if your viewers aren't familiar with the Meadowlands, they know the Jets and Giants. Over the Jets and Giants. I'm a Jets fan, don't hate. At least I'm loyal, right? So I signed a 10-year deal with the State Fair Meadowlands. It's the largest fair in the East Coast. 100+ rides over several weeks to produce all concerts, all festivals, all events for 10 years. My kickoff was the EDM festival. We were looking at doing over 100,000 people. We had everything in place. We had our talent lined up. We had the staging set up. We had the infrastructure set up. We had our marketing set up. Everything you name for a successful event. It was really a turnkey operation. And then Live Nation Entertainment, company at the time that I didn't even know who they were, except they just did rock and roll, because they weren't in my world. They found out about it. They came in and they clicked a button and crushed it and killed it.
So when you say they crushed it and killed it, I think for some people who might be watching, they might say, you're an up-and-coming party promoter. You're trying to establish yourself. They're a super big conglomerate. How can they didn't take it. They just, they did what businesses do. How do you respond to when you hear maybe those type of, not accusations, but responses to what you're saying?
Yeah, well, this isn't what businesses do. It's what the mafia would do. There's no real difference. It's just a gangster in a suit, no difference. So what Live Nation did was just regular business. Look, I was in business. I was an up-and-coming promoter. I was in business for 15 years. I grew to the top in my industry. I started from nothing, throwing little parties at like legendary clubs like the Tunnel, the Limelight. I went from house parties before that, packing houses out at 16 years old with people falling through my attic to get it where I got. Over time, building all major events. So I got to the top, but I wasn't small. But in my industry, EDM, I did a lot of other stuff. But Live Nation wasn't involved in electronic dance music. They didn't do these events. They didn't do house music. They weren't in. Their CEO, Michael Rapino, he's in magazines at the time saying they were behind the 8 ball, and his fear was lesser known organizations were going to lock up festival spaces for electronic dance. Me, one of them. And they needed to acquire or hire all these promoters. Live Nation came in on a multi-pronged attack. The Meadowlands, it's the state fair, their landlords, the sports authority. They came to the sports authority and said, they're robbers, they're thieves, don't fucking work with them. They went to my guy I had a contract with, Al Dorso from the state fair. Same thing, robbers, thieves. And you know what? They went to him and said, we're blocking all your talent. We're going to block all his talent from performing. No talent, and we're going to block the tickets from Ticketmaster. No tickets for the show if you don't give us the contract or he doesn't partner with us. So I had to meet with, I didn't want to, but the Live Nation, Al Dorso, the owner of the state fair, said, meet with the Live Nation executives. I met with those executives, and the Mafia is a lot nicer than that. When I went in the door, I was, hi, my name's, I didn't even get to say my name. Fuck you. We're going to wipe you, we're blowing you out of this contract. The Meadowlands, our stadium, not yours. We will block all your talent. I had the biggest DJ in the world, Tiesto, confirmed. We're going to block his dates worldwide, so he won't perform at your show. And if anybody, your viewers aren't familiar, the William Morris Agency, at the time, was the largest talent agency. I had millions of dollars of offers out to them. Might sound like peanuts now, but it was a lot of money back in 2011. They said, that's our exclusive agency. No talent's coming through to you. We're blocking all of it unless you partner with us. Kick your partners out and partner with us for 50, and we'll fund the festival.
Okay.
50% of the festival. I battled the mob in New Jersey for a long time. I never paid them. And it was literally the same, worse than a mob. They just came in and said, you know, we're going to pay you, but kick your partners out. I only had a handshake deal. I could have, but I don't break my word. They said, if not, any event of 10,000 people, we're not involved. We're going to, like yours, we'll click in a click of a button. We're canceling this and it's over. After that meeting, click of a button.
I think the first part is the response when you first got in there. Is that something that you like vividly remember to this day, when you try to shake whoever's hand and they just basically told you, fuck you?
Yeah, fuck you'd be nice. That's a nice word. I couldn't even say my name was Tommy. We're blowing you the fuck out of contract. This is our fucking stadium. Who do you think you're doing trying to put on an event there? That's how it started. So I didn't even get to say my name.
Whew. And I think the follow-up to that is, you said that you only had a handshake agreement with your partners, and you dealt with the mob before and you wouldn't pay. But in the 16 years since, have you ever considered or thought to yourself, man, I should have just partnered with them maybe this one time, maybe in a smaller, is there ever anything that runs through your mind that says, maybe I should have tried to just get a foot in and seen what happens, or this fight is more important than all of that?
Yeah, well, to me, it's not even just that. It's like, so my dad was my idol, and he passed away when I was 12. And I learned a lot of stuff from my dad, and one thing he told me was, you never break your word. So me, I was very loyal, and I'll never break my word. That's the one thing about me. And like years after my dad passed away, he did construction and stuff. I'd run into people, and they'd be like, your dad did a driveway, and with a handshake deal with me. And he could have just ripped me off, but he did it off his word. So to me, words bond, So to me, I would not break my word. And second of all, why the hell do I want to partner with people that are coming in there basically threatening me with a gun? It's the same shit with just expensive, rich-ass suits on. I don't want to work with these people.
No, definitely.
Because I'm forced to? Why? I built this. It's my idea. This is my festival. What the hell you got to do with it? Nothing. You just want to steal it, which they did.
Speaking of building the festival, you talked about your relationship with some of these acts. I know you're originally from the Jersey area. Can you just talk to us about the Jersey Shore and your experience with them? Because I know you were coming up around that time and that scene. Just some people just get some background to like who Tommy D actually is.
Absolutely. So like I was telling you before, I started in the business in 97 throwing house parties at houses, house to house, getting in a lot of trouble. Grew into the club industry. I did guest lists in the city. I was getting like $1 a head to bring like 100 people. They were like, one dude's like, hey, I'm bringing 100 people a night after my parties. It's like, you want to get paid $1? I was like, hell yeah, you know, do something legal. After that, I was like, you know what? I love music. I've been passionate about music. My dad took me to mad concerts when I was young. At least they were affordable. I was lucky enough. So I was huge into music, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to create a club empire. Parents, go to college, mom, go to college, family. I ain't going to college. I'm going to create a club empire. And I had a dream and a passion. So I sought out and I started a party. I got my first party was on a Wednesday night from a mob boss in 1997, because nobody partied on a Wednesday back then. I went to college campuses, passing out flyers, car to car, worked up my ass off with one person at the time, not a team. We packed the first out event with 1,500 people. Over time, after that, I took off in the industry. And then I did with my team's hard work, not just me. We grew over those 15 years, packing out almost every major New Jersey club, New York, down to Miami. We started the vibe down the Jersey Shore. We ran major clubs like DJs in the Seaside Heights, Temptations, packed all these venues out from all the major celebrities, from the Kardashians, Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg. I did hip hop from Fabulous, Chris Brown. And then the Jersey Shore, to answer your question, the first year, people don't realize, that was at Club Karma. The first year that show the club was dead. You watch the videos on that? It was dead. There was only one room filled with people. I did business with MTV for a long time. If you guys are familiar with like Steve-O Jackass, MTV, Steve-O was my boy back then. I used to run Steve-O's events through Cancun for like over 10 years, and many across the nation. So MTV came to me and said, look, we want you to pack out Karma because the shit's dead, but the show's taken off. And then I was able to cut a deal with MTV and with the club, got a lot of money. I didn't want my name on it because I thought it was corny as hell, because at the time in Jersey, everyone, before the show took off, everybody's like, this shit's so corny. This ain't Jersey. These people ain't from here. They're corny as hell. So that's why my name's on the flyers, but they signed a big NDA with me that they never put my picture on the camera with it. But I packed out that club, Karma, that second year, and me and my team packed that place out through the roof, and I think it helped with the success of the show.
Nice.
Okay. So let me get one chat. Hey, Mr. Tommy D, where'd your love for EDM come from?
Where did what?
Where'd your love from EDM start? Like, where did it come from?
Yeah, so I had just a love for music, to be straight up with you. Growing up, my favorite artists were like, an inspiration with Tupac and Bon Jovi. But at the time, I was living on my own at 16 when I was had houses, and to pay my bills, guess the crowd I was around, house music was popular. So that's how I actually got into house music, because just for survival. And I had my friends DJing at the houses. We sometimes put up over 500 people in a house, and that's how I got into house music and EDM. It was a necessity. It wasn't even a passion, but then I got to love the music. I've always loved all music.
So you literally were throwing house parties while listening to house music. That's all right.
I think back to the lawsuit. It's been a long uphill battle, and I know that at the end of last year, you actually got to go to court with the lawsuit. Can you tell us a little bit about actually getting in front of a judge and how that has maybe made you more determined, or maybe it has made you less?
Yeah, so 16 years has been a long time. My lawyers in the beginning predicted the case would be in trial in front of a jury in 1 year. So to answer your question, I guess directly, in front of a judge last year, I was supposed to have a trial 2 years ago, just so you know. It was a firm trial date set by the judge. And it was a long time, but there's a firm trial date by a federal judge. Right at the end, right before the trial, Live Nation wanted another mediation. I didn't want their money for the 16th time. You're forced in federal court rules to take the mediation. I respect the court. I had to take the mediation. You have no choice. So when I got to this court hearing here, it was supposed to be set up to get another trial date, and that was in November. And ever since, it's been silent, and there's been nothing. So just like 16 years, Live Nation's really good at paying high-expense lawyers, a lot of lobbyists, has a lot of power. It's been 16 years. I think anybody can grasp. I think the founding fathers, I'm in Massachusetts right now, thought about me for the right of a speedy trial. So I guess that's the best I can answer. And I could go on for hours, but
No, I don't want to dive too deep because I've seen that you don't like to disclose this, but because of how much money a company like Live Nation has, for you, is there ever a point where financially it just becomes unbearable, just something you can no longer just keep up?
yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it's not been easy. You know what I mean? When this lawsuit first started, I was at the top of the industry. Live Nation blacklisted me. I got wiped out and lost everything. I ended up going homeless. I went from worse than when I was 16. I had to get a job, and I was going to get jobs, and I'm walking in with stacks like this. Number one sound system in the world, Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian. They're like, Snoop Dogg, fabulous. They're like, what the hell are you doing in here? So I finally got a job going door to door selling cable. And I had to get good at it quick. And that's funded. I got good at it. It funded this litigation. I was able to get attorneys, filed a lawsuit, Live Nation doing it. And it grew a company doing so, and that's what's funded the litigation for 16 years. But it's not been easy, you know what I mean? I have one attorney, his name's Andrew Smith. He's awesome. He's really good. But I battle 2,000 attorneys, 2,000 paralegals. So during the night, I do a ton of legal work as well. So it hasn't been easy. But early on, I guess if answering your question, I would have took their money right off the bat. As long as they apologized, gave me my money back. It was an economic dispute. I wanted my stuff. But as time passed, and the information I've seen through discovery that I obtained and showing how Live Nation runs a racket, operates with multiple sets of books that I've only seen that the Mafia does, and causes the ticket prices to go to the roof, and seeing what they did ever since they merged with Ticketmaster. I was like one of the first victims of that. Back in 2011, they just had merged with Ticketmaster, but there's many every day, and the fans are the main ones. And seeing them wipe out all the independent promoters from the music scene that I love, seeing what they do to artists that can't speak because they won't have a show, and seeing these prices increase and just everybody being screwed over by this company, it got to a point where I said, you know what, I got to just keep this going and present this evidence in front of a jury. But sometimes it's been hard. My head's down, but you know what, end of the day, lately the fan support is, especially that court hearing I went to, you just talked about last year. I don't like to go to court, and I don't think anybody does. There was hundreds of people out there with shut down Live Nation, justice for Tommy D, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep it. I can't quit. I can't throw in the towel. So but yeah, it's been hard though. I ain't gonna lie, it's been rough.
One thing I'm curious about is politicians in this matter, because you mentioned the founding fathers, you mentioned speedy trial. How have they, or haven't they, or have there been politicians that have helped you further this case, get to maybe a resolution that you think is helpful? Are there any ones in particular that you can speak of and shout them out essentially?
Yeah, well, I'll speak to the late Congressman Bill Pascrell out of New Jersey. He was a battled Live Nation and Ticketmaster before they even wiped me out in 2009 against this merger. He found there was information in my case. I have an expert, Dr. Richard Barnett, and he's a leading expert. Like if anybody's kids go to college, he wrote the book on the business. You go read his book in school, The Concert Business. Information we obtained with discovery showing how Live Nation runs a racket and has 2 sets of books, cooked ones, an illegal kickback scheme. He reviewed this information and wrote an expert report. Live Nation fought really hard. They actually even used their head attorney became the head, if you want to talk politics, he became the head of the Department of Justice for New Jersey, Philip Selinger, who I battled. Still battling right now. Now he's their lead trial attorney. He suppressed the report through a technicality because Live Nation's got a lot of money. The late congressman found it. He sent the report to the Senate, to Congress, telling them to investigate. And he was backing me and supporting me, which I much respect him for doing. He ended up passing away, unfortunately, but he was someone that was really supporting me, and I have much respect for him and the family.
You mentioned the things that you have seen through discovery. Now, I know you're currently going through the trial, so you cannot divulge all of that information or probably any of it. But from the fans' perspective, is there something you think we would be shocked even more than we are about what's taking place as far as ticketing, concerts, and all those things?
Yeah, there's a lot. And one, I'll add in I'll say information I've seen. One, I would definitely say security. You guys see people like you saw Astroworld, the Netflix documentary, people are dying at the concerts, and there's stuff going on every day with this. Live Nation has so much power that they go into the venues, and some of them are like state venues, which is kind of crazy, And they literally, the venue's like, we need more security. We're afraid people are going to get hurt here or worse. And they tell them, no, you take it exactly what we want with this security. If not, we're skipping not even this show for the state-owned venue. We're skipping every single show. That's one of them right there that I think is pretty bad. There's a lot. And I think the other biggest part is they just run a racket. It's basically like a mafia-run organization. This is not a company. It's a criminal enterprise. They have two sets of books. They go in, they squeeze everyone. They go to a venue, they force the venues to pay them kickbacks, protection money. It's like a mob going into a store. Pay us this or you're done. This money then gets filtered into the fans have to pay for it. The one set of books, the artists, they don't ever see this money that Live Nation's getting in the back end. It's the kickback. That's it, in their pocket. They don't see it. The promoters don't see it. They're co-promoters. So you have like, there was an NBC article that just came out recently. It was done by Gretchen Morgensen, Pulitzer Prize. I've seen similar information. One set of books make it real simple for everyone because it sounds complicated. Real simple. Negative $1.5 million, the NBC article. That's for the artists. That's a co-promoter over hundreds of shows. Other sets of book, Live Nation's pocket. So everybody's losing money on those events. 15 million profit. I've seen way worse. So it's just a racket. It's racketeering on corporate level. It's no difference.
So like the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, or anything like that hasn't tried to get involved with it, with them basically eliminate competition? Because I'm pretty sure the basis of their argument is you can still be a competitor in the space as long as you break. They'll probably say, 50% of the door or something like that. But with the threatening offer that you receive and how they, as you can say, and we can see how they eliminate promoters and competition throughout the city, how do other government agencies besides the late governor that you had on your side not step in?
Well, I do give props. I don't know if you know, but the Department of Justice, it was under the Biden administration, filed a monopoly case against Live Nation. I went to trial, and the DOJ caved within 1 week, and they settled for like $220 million or $250 million. Sounds like a lot, but that's only 4 days worth of revenue for Live Nation. It's like a parking ticket. People don't get that. But the state AGs, I battled hard, and I pushed my state AG, Jennifer Davenport of New Jersey. Props to her. Props to the New York one, props to California, and another like 30 bipartisan. There's nothing bipartisan in this country. They refused to accept the settlement. They continued the case. And the lawyer, Jeffrey Kessler, props to him. Think about this. Live Nation went in, settled the case, okay, without the judge knowing and without their head trial attorney even knowing, okay? It's kind of crazy. The state AGs had to get a lawyer and try a case. I've been battling Live Nation for 16 years, so I know how hard it is on the legal side to fight against this company. This lawyer had to pick up the case within 1 week while it was going on. He took it. They won. They found Live Nation guilty on every single count of being a monopoly. Right now, we're waiting on the judge. and I think it'll be within the next year on remedies. So hopefully they'll break up Live Nation, split it into as many pieces as possible. So I give the state attorney generals a lot of props there. I have called for Congress recently to investigate these illegal kickbacks and ban them from the live entertainment industry. So I'm hoping someone just like those state AGs had the courage to do so and step up, and the late congressman did. I'm hoping a politician will too as well.
If there's anything you would like for people who don't know about you or don't know of your story to take away from this interview, what would that be?
If you look at like a mafia, they run like one community, you know? I'm from New Jersey and New York. There was 5 families, okay? At least there's competition. Live Nation controls the whole entire music industry. Across this whole nation, not even just this nation, worldwide. You just had in the UK, the government come out saying, wow, this is an issue. This is a worldwide problem. And this affects every single person that buys tickets to sports, NASCAR, concerts, obviously, my industry. It affects every single fan. So this is not a company. This is a criminal enterprise. And this should be investigated and it should be shut down. This is like the Enron, like if people don't realize, like accounting scheme. This is, I don't even allege. Live Nation runs a financial accounting scheme, 2 sets of books, racketeering, financial fraud, accounting fraud. Should be investigated. And for fans, look at this. You pay so much money. Independent promoters, where are they? Most of them are wiped out. Or you have to bow to the ring of the Live Nation CEO, Michael Rapino, to even do business. Artists, they can't speak out. Recently, that NBC article, it came out and there was a thing, that Live Nation said they were going to squeeze acts into submission. That's powerful. You know how many artists spoke? 0. I don't blame them because there's no show for you. So the power of this company is so unchecked. It's way beyond a monopoly. And it really needs to be stopped because the CEO has come out publicly saying he wants to raise ticket prices when he's on trial for multiple things, something the mafia would never do. And if you want high ticket prices, support Live Nation. You want lower ticket prices, you want independent promoters to thrive again, you want the independent scene to thrive again, that's what I'm fighting for. Artists being developed again, Push heavily to your congressmen, push to your senators, push to your state AGs. Live Nation pays lobbyists so much money, but you got one power, the vote, your right to vote. And go challenge these people. Are you going to do something about this? And like these state AGs that I challenged, they stepped up. They took him and got a verdict, but it needs to go further. So people can you can make something happen. You can do it. I'm only one voice. The fans are the army, but that's the biggest thing I would say, and I'm here to back anybody up. Someone can reach out to me. Anything you tell me is confidential, but if you want me at a rally, you want me in front of your stadium, you want me in front of your congressman, let me know. I'll be there. It's way bigger than me.
Tommy D, it has been a pleasure getting to sit and talk with you. Learned so much, not just about you, but about the business and Live Nation. How can people reach out, contact you, find out more about you and your story?
So Tommy D, juiceentertainment.com. My Twitter, Tommy D Prime Time, Tim, Tim 1. They can reach out on there. I recently just had the head counsel of Live Nation, Dan Walls, attack me on Twitter, which Page 6 featured. I was kind of happy about it because I used to be in Page 6 all the time for my crazy parties all the time. And I was like, thanks, Dan. You just got me back in Page 6 again. Made me memories of my past life when I used to throw some crazy parties all the time. I used to be in there every other week. So that's where they can reach out and, support. I'm supporting the fans. And if that's the support I look for, just sharing the message and helping to stop this company. Well, not this crime family.
Thank you. Some strong words, Tommy D, but thank you for coming and stopping by.
To back it up.
Hey, I would love to hear it. We hopefully once you get the trial gets settled, we'll have you on again and we'll talk some more.
Would love it, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for anybody listening. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Tommy D.